I'm glad it looks that way. How are you?
Amazing. I love getting up early. I love everything about my life. I'm
right there with you.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Same, man. I'm doing really well.
I keep getting these ads on Instagram that you should never ask that question. So it's made me paranoid.
I saw the same one yesterday about public speaking or something. I got hit with that.
Don't ever say, how are you doing? I'm like, oh, really?
I don't know what to say. I walked into Paper Street today and I always ask the barista, I was like, hey, how are you? And I was like, oh, I'm not supposed to say that. Instagram told me not to.
Hey, you know what's funny too is they're trying to upsell you on something, so you're supposed to hang out waiting for what you're supposed to say. But I always scroll by it, and then I'm always like, "What are you supposed to say?" How to be a better speaker. Nick Johnston. Why is it always so hard for me to remember that T? I'm like always paranoid I'm going to say your name wrong.
Yeah, it just gets stuck in there.
Do you care when people mess it up?
No, I think the first name, like my whole life, I've just dealt with the first name issue because I always get a K on the end of it.
For the spelling.
Yeah. But yeah, Johnston's pretty, yeah, everyone says that. That's the one that probably is the most common. I don't know many Johnstons.
What time do you wake up?
6:30 usually.
Same. Is your life 7 days a week the same? Like pretty regimented. Like you're not like, oh, it's Sunday, I get to sleep in.
Nah. It's usually the exact same, or it's a little bit earlier if my wife wakes me up because she's doing something crazy and working out.
Oh, geez. Do you guys have a gym at home?
Yeah, we've got a full garage gym that we've moved 3 times across the country, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
You're in Nashville?
Yep.
And the time there, 9 or 10?
Yeah, it's 9 here, so not bad for me, early for you.
Yeah. It's great, though. Don't you like getting up early and getting a bunch of shit out of the way?
Get it out of the way. It's good.
Yeah.
We always have the classes are going on early, right? So I'm always in here and I've always got people around, so it's good for me.
What time does that place open?
5 a.m.
Ooh. So that means someone's there early.
Yep. Yeah. And like 5 a.m. classes, those are the funnest people to be around. It's usually the best community involvement we see in the gym. I think those guys have been here the longest for sure.
Oh, so that's not facetious. They really are. That's the good class. They're fired up.
Yeah. Like every gym I've ever managed or been at, like the 5 a.m., they're all characters for sure, but they always seem to be the most community driven and kind of the closest when it comes to the individuals in the gym.
We all have a little bit of crazy in us. We work out at 5 a.m.
It's a badge of honor for those guys for sure.
Is Paper Street Coffee open at 5 a.m.?
I think they open at 5:45. So when those guys get done with 5 a.m., they can get their coffee there. It's pretty cool. They have like a coffee club and they sit there for a good hour after their 5 a.m. class and they just hang out and chat. And that just started probably this year because Tia and Shane were here this week and she was sitting with them for an hour and just said how great it was because they've all become really good friends. So it's cool to see. That's
crazy that you would get up that early and then have an hour after that. If I'm getting up that early, it's because I have somewhere to be and something to do.
100%. Yeah. They're all stuck in it now.
Holy shit. And how long have you been at Proven?
This will be... So as I started off as a coach just with part-time role, and that was in 2022. Took over this role 2.5 years ago. So this is year 3.5.
Congratulations. You've done a lot.
Yeah, we were just talking about that yesterday. We saw a couple old like flashback posts, and it feels like it's been 10 years, which is a good and bad thing, right? You never realize it when you're in it. But yeah, a lot has happened. That's for sure.
Nick, when you started as a coach in 2022, as a part-time coach, you had another job.
Yeah. I ran a company down in Texas.
Okay. And you were a remote coach.
Yeah. So at that time, Taylor and I, my wife, we were in Knoxville. And so I would drive down to Nashville pretty much every weekend. So it wasn't too remote, right? I was only a 2.5 hour drive away, but it was remote day to day.
Okay. Enough of the small talk. Any new athletes? Any new athletes coming in this year?
I don't think nothing that we haven't announced. Like Rebecca Vidison's brand new. She's with us. But no, I think that's it.
Did she make it to the games last year? I don't remember seeing her.
No, she tore her ACL 2 years ago. And I think last year, I could be wrong here, but I think last year was her just getting back into some sort of competing. I don't even think she did semifinals or anything. And then she started working with our coach, Jordan, at the beginning of this year, or off season, basically. So in the fall. And this will be our first season with us.
I was listening to your podcast on the Glinton things. There's some great stuff there. There's a clip I'll play later that's so good. I don't even know if you knew how poignant this was to the whole ecosystem, something that you said that people forget over and over and over. And I haven't heard, it's about HQ, and it hasn't been said in a long time. I'll play that in a minute. But there's a great part in there where you tell, I had never heard you say this before, where you sort of tell the history and the speed bump of when you guys had a shift of athletes. You had a bunch of big name athletes there. You guys were there. Then those athletes left and you guys were getting blamed. And it was kind of like a gut check moment. Like, hey, what do we do here? Do we just say, okay, we're not going to do other athletes and all in on Tia? Or do we do what we really know we're supposed to do? And you guys take the risk and make that decision. Insane, right? Because I think not only have you done that, but at the same time, simultaneously, you're not just a high-powered camp. You guys are sort of now stepped into where Mayhem's at, where you guys now are like a community darling. Like people see you as part of the community and not just elite athletes, which is a crazy gap to bridge, right? I mean, the Mayhem Empire has done that so well, and now you guys have done that. I think people see that. But I do look at your stable of athletes, and there's some young, insane guns there, right? Kerstetter, McGonigal. Sorry if I'm leaving anyone else, but then you got a lot of old horses.
Yep.
Jay Crouch is going into the peak of his career. You got Tia, she's fucking, and Ricky headed to the glue factory. Is there like, hey, we should have our eyes open for one or two every year to sort of keep it fresh? And you got Colton, like you kind of, he's just an unknown. You don't know if he's in the glue factory or if he's in the beginning.
Which Ricky probably falls in that one at this point too. And Tia, I guess, for that fact.
Yeah, you just don't know, right?
Yeah.
What is there a plan for that? Like, hey, we should take one or two a year.
Yeah, I think going back to what you said earlier, that was interesting because when we went through all of that with the early athletes and the Brooks Sacks and all of them, like we didn't have a plan. You know what I mean? That was so early on where camps weren't a thing. We didn't know what we were doing. And I would say back then there really wasn't a plan. Let's just figure it out as we go. Whereas now we're starting to look at this as more of a, let's call it a professional sports organization that you would run an NFL team or an MLB team, right? Where we have to start thinking of maybe 5 to 10 years down the road and how do we continue bringing what we do best to athletes that are up and coming. So obviously like Lucy and Olivia are two really good examples there, but we now on site have 6 athletes that are all 25 or under, and a few of them in their teens that we really want to get hands on and really start working with, because we believe, hey, if we can't do this with our athletes in our own space, why are we doing it at all, right? So we want to start building HQ to be a place where we'll always have our remote athletes, especially in Australia, because that's just where we're known best and where we started. But we really want to make this a place where, although it's just an amazing place for the community and the affiliates, we start bringing in some really good athletes that are in-house every day that we can build from the ground up. And they're just not here for a couple years and then retiring, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I don't want to make it sound superficial, but really the brand has now balance. It isn't just elite athletes. Like people see Tia as like a heavyweight and proven as a heavyweight contributor to, sorry for the word, to the community. Like they see proven as a gym where people go work out and fat people lose weight and old people stay alive and shit like that.
Yep. Yeah. And I think Tia, Shane and I had a really good conversation the other day of like, we opened this gym because we felt like we were being a little false in what we were preaching, right? We didn't have a place where we actually had our own community. It was online, but when you're just putting out an app and you're just doing programs to people that you can't see their faces, it gets hard. So ever since we've opened this gym, I think everything has completely shifted for us in how people not only view us, but how we see our community growing every day. And it feels like it's been 10 years, like I said, but it's only been 2 years in the gym. And just to see the difference of year after year of the open here has been incredible. I would say year one, there really wasn't much of a feel. There wasn't this vibe that people were here for any other reason, just to work out and put a score on the leaderboard. Where this past week, when we did Friday Night Lights together and we had over 100 people in here all throwing down, it felt like, man, these are like the old days of when I walked into affiliate for the first time. I got really excited, and we had a bunch of new people that have never done the open. So I think for us, like it kind of feels full circle, right? Where you've got your pro athletes. We'll always do that really well and what I believe to be the best. But now we're seeing the community side of people just walking into the gym for the first time. And that fires us up a lot.
I'm gonna come back to the gym and pull up your Instagram and ask you about how the affiliate's doing. But going back to what you said about plan, about how you didn't have a plan,
mm-hmm.
And it was you, instead of ready, aim, fire, you did shoot, aim, fire, aim. And I don't have a problem with that. That's kind of how I operate too. Like, failure is just part of it. What ended up being the plan?
Yeah, it was hard, man, because it was one of those things where we went into that, and because this camp thing was so new and exciting, I thought we thought we had it figured out in a way that this can just go on forever. Everybody's having a great time. All these good athletes are here and it's fun.
And would everyone just do what Tia did? Were you like literally, were you guys just winging it? Well, we have the best ever, so they can just do what she does.
Year one, when we were just launching, we were at Trivium a little bit, in East Nashville a little bit. It basically was a template. Like, Shane was writing the base, and then Dwight and I were here to make some changes day to day, but it really wasn't personalized. And that's just what we thought was the way to go. And then we went and completely shifted 180, and we said, okay, everybody's getting their own coach. Nobody's going to work out together. But then that blew up in our face too, because we lost that aspect of, again, community, but people doing things together to elevate each other in what they were doing day to day. And I think it was one of those things where it really rocked my self-confidence, because it was year one for me as CEO in this role, but also leading something that involved people that are big names, right? Like, when you've got some of the biggest names in the sport relying on you to get them to where they want to go, you feel an extra pressure there, to where I started doubting and second guessing what we were doing. And I truthfully, like, bringing that back, one of my only regrets in this position that I've had at all was the way that we kind of handled that whole situation with them leaving, because I feel like we second guessed ourselves, and we kind of, back down instead of really diving in and saying what we believed in, if that makes sense, because we knew we had the right answer. And I remember going on a podcast, it might've been with Peter, where I kind of just like tried to play this PR front of like, oh, well, it was okay. Like, everybody's friend. Like, no, we should have just stepped up and said, hey, these people weren't good fits for us. They're not going to be good fits for our camp and what we want to do long-term. And it was time to part ways. And that's what we should have gone with. And that's where we're at now, because we fully believe that we have the right formula for where athletes should be and the standards that they should fall under. And I look back on that a lot, and we've learned from that, and we won't let that happen again.
So it's interesting. There's a parallel there now to HQ and how a lot of companies work and how politicians work. They're like, okay, we're going to listen now. We're going to listen. And they go into listening mode. And you're saying you went a little bit into that, but in hindsight, no, we knew what we needed to do, and we should have just doubled down on that.
Yeah. And I think it comes down to just people fitting within these camp scenarios, right? It doesn't make you a good or bad person if you fit or you don't. You just have to find the right fits, because it's got to be one of those mindsets that you're coming into this environment knowing that, hey, maybe I'm not going to get a coach looking at me 24/7 just on me, but I'm going to be able to be surrounded by people that are like-minded and want to get better together. And that just takes a different kind of person, right? And I think early on in CrossFit, because the camp scenario was so new when we started, I think the athletes that we did have weren't ready for that. They wanted a little bit more hands-on, or wanted the eyeballs to be all on them, and maybe, let's call it ego or not, but that's where they were coming from. So we just had a complete remodel and a reshift when it came to who we were bringing into this camp. And our first ones were Jay and Maddie, and I can't say enough about how they bought in. And now you look at where their career is going, it was all because of what they did from day one.
I will tell you this, speaking of anxiety and fear, when Colton signed up with Proven, I was like, oh boy, that's not it. That's not going to be a good fit. He's not whatever presuppositions or ideas I had of what Proven was. I was like, this is not going to be a good fit. And I could also tell that he was like, hey, I'm not coming here giving my trust. They're going to have to earn my trust. And boy, did he end up being a good fit. And now I understand why, by what you're saying. Now I understand why. I just thought that, like, that Colton's going to have to wear the fucking collared shirt and the fucking Proven sweatpants, and they're going to fucking take away from, but he got to stay who he was and be part of that motley crew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's meeting people where they're at, right? Because for us, we've got a very strict set of standards that we believe in, but it doesn't mean you need to change how you operate as a person, right? When it comes to what you believe in, as long as you're meeting everybody where they're at. And I think the biggest one for us is like accountability and communication. Like, if our athletes are giving us enough accountability to where they can look inside and say, hey, I'm not just going to blame my coach when things go wrong. I'm not going to blame the people next to me when things go wrong. And I'm going to communicate in a way that makes me professional, but also able to voice my thoughts. You're going to get to a better place than just relying on a coach to tell you exactly what you need at all times, because I think that's what we got into, right? We were creating robots in a way that these athletes would get to a competition and they would have no idea how to handle adversity or anything going wrong, because we were doing everything for them. And we found this really good balance now to where we're able to put these people in positions to fail in training or work really hard in training. So when they get on game day, it's nothing for them. And I think you've seen that from Shane and Tia from their whole career. She doesn't falter at any point when something goes wrong when it comes to competition. And that's where we're trying to get these athletes. And I think Colton obviously falls into that because that's who he is as a person. But we just needed to show him from day one, hey, I don't know what your preconceived notions are of us as a brand and what's happened with previous athletes. Give us a year and we're going to show you exactly why you should be here and why you fit.
Yeah, when I think of Colton, I think of him as this dude who's reached a point in his life where so many people probably were telling him what he could and couldn't do. Mm-hmm. And his whole life, it was working for him to say, hey, fuck you, I'll do it my way. And that was like, that was the recipe for success for him, Mm-hmm. And so then when I saw him go there, I'm like, oh boy, how's this going to work? But now when you hear him talk, like, he would take Joey everywhere with him. He'd let Joey fucking move into the house if he could. I mean, something has clicked there. I mean, he wants Joey there. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who ever wants to leave his house. And he actually seems, when he talks about going to the Proven, he actually seems like excited.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we want to create too, right?
That's a huge compliment.
Yeah, it's creating a space where these athletes, like for Colton, he doesn't like to travel. He doesn't like to do these things. But if we can create a space for him to feel like this is more of a home, that he's getting away from all of those things to be here with people that he loves and likes to be around, like, that's a huge benefit. And what we never really saw coming when it came to just coaching athletes, because you don't really put those two things together. But now just the team that we've made and how close all of those people are is pretty incredible.
Yeah, and I think everyone obviously likes to be liked. I think he knows that the people there genuinely like him. Mm. Yeah. And everyone's so complimentary of him. Nick, oh boy. Come on, he just got here. Why do we have to put so much pressure on him? 30 bar-facing burpees for time. Tia or Colton?
Colton, because he's a guy.
Oh, okay. Man, I'll never forget the first time Tia came to HQ and she raced Brooke Ensign some burpees. I want to say it was like 50. And Brooke was at the peak of her career and she was insane. I think she maybe just won a semifinals in Del Mar or something. But the difference in how they moved, Brooke was more like a robot and Tia was more like water. She was just like flowing back and forth over the bar, just like...
Yeah, and then you watch Colton, and it's a combination of both. Just crazy.
What did you think about the way he attacked 26.3? Be honest, like in the very beginning,
man.
Were you nervous at all? I mean, that looked like it was slow as shit. I was like, oh boy, what's he doing?
Yeah, it was interesting because we had just watched Lucy do it here, and she, I think, got third or fourth in the world on that workout. And she came to us and she said, "Hey, I'm going to go slower than normal because so far in the open, I've just gone out too hot and I want to see what happens." And she's 19, so you never know what's going to happen with those kids. And she comes out and she did pretty well. She slowed down a little bit and she did her thing. And then we saw what happened over time. So we knew that was definitely the strategy to go because it's just such a long workout for those guys. And with not many people finishing, that's just the mindset you have to be in. But I expected him to kind of take a bigger swing, to be honest, because it's everything riding on the line for the open. So it's cool to see, like, when somebody can masterclass something like that, it's awesome to watch.
Hey, it's pretty crazy that those videos, we split it into 2 videos and it went over 150,000 views.
Wow.
Of Colton doing 26.3. Wow. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't even looked into it, but have you looked at the open announcement video numbers and how those did?
I just remember the first week they broke all records, which is wild, Yeah. They broke all records. I really enjoyed the announcements. Now it's 2 years in a row of just absolutely amazing open announcements. I loved the open this year, and I'm really excited that quarterfinals is coming up very quickly. I mean, just just selfishly from a media standpoint, there's so much meat on the bone right now.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know how Wodapalooza would go, and obviously they had their own problems throughout the weekend, but I thought that announcement was awesome. When they did the actual announcement and how many people were there, I thought that was great.
I always knew that the open announcement was challenging for athletes, right? Because they hear the workout and then they just have to attack it. But I really think 26.3, Danielle, Ariel, and was it who
Olivia.
Olivia. I thought they were put in the toughest position I've ever seen of any open, because this one really, as Colton showed, really put the athletes in a spot of something they probably never had to do before. I mean, Colton really slowed down. I mean, for him, it was still faster than most of us can do, his slow. But when I heard him talk about it, it was almost like he had to remind himself throughout those first 4 rounds.
Yeah.
I really have to fucking chill.
Yep.
I mean, it was
hot, right? Like being outside too is ridiculous.
It must have been ridiculous for him when he was doing those single cleans. He must have, like, every time he touched the bar, he must have been like, why am I doing this?
That's what we were trying to figure out, because we didn't see anyone do that. And we're like, how is this even possible? But I guess when you have that skill that he does in speed, it's a different ball game.
Yeah. Yeah. It was impressive. And you rarely see him talk about being nervous. And afterwards, he was like, dude, I was so fucking nervous.
I mean, going live is a whole different thing too, right? Especially when you're on your own and you've got that on the line of winning the open, especially like you did last year. I think that's awesome. It was so cool to see that you guys did that, because for us as fans, just watching as well, it's just awesome.
Hey, that's all on him. Like, when, part of it is we're fully taking advantage of him, right? Like, I sent him a text. I'm like, hey, can we stream this live? And I know we're asking a fucking shitload, but to pat ourselves on the back, it's just about being on the pulse and staying nimble and having relationships. And then he said yes, and then Souza says, "Hey, let's sell him a shitload of soap." And the next
awesome,
day,
man.
Yeah, the next day I text him, I'm like, "How are things?" He's like, "I'm fucking at Home Depot. I'm here. I'm getting more labels, more boxes. I'm fucked."
I mean, I just wish. I wish more athletes would take opportunities like this, honestly. He's put himself in such a great position to maybe go however to now being one of the top names in the sport and having the opportunity to do what he loves and make more money. Like, more athletes need to dive in more into that stuff.
And it shows how supportive the fans are. The observers, they totally did. When just on the honor system, they stepped up and bought the soap. It was fucking cool. I'd be curious to get your opinion on it. We had a generation where we had a couple athletes like this. There were some Dan Baileys and Josh Bridges who weren't, getting to the top, but the community fully fucking embraced them. And I felt like we maybe had a little bit of a gap of that. And now we have Colton Mertens.
Yeah, it feels like we went through this weird, because social media blew up and everybody turned then into just a billboard for brands, right? It just started turning into, hey, how many ads can I put up to hit my deliverables without much personality driven into my content? And I think we're getting smart enough now, and consumers are getting smart enough where they see past that, because everyone is doing it. And people now, they want to connect to a human being. And that's exactly what Colton's doing. And honestly, like, I don't watch the podcast, but Jason, Justin, and those guys, like, even the fact that they're putting content out themselves, like, I wish more athletes would just take a leap into that, because they need to understand you have to connect to an audience. Like, you just holding a jar of supplements or you telling someone to buy something, we're far past those days. And the athletes that get on board with starting to tell real stories are the ones that are going to go for a long time.
Yeah. It is more compelling to see Colton holding a can of rain, spraying shit off a wall, pig shit off a wall with a hose and shit flying around everywhere, than it is to see them with the can of rain at the beach. I mean, it is, yeah. You're just like, you're seeing his life. What do you think about that? Would you be nervous if he said, "Hey, I'm making enough money, I'm quitting my pig job"? Do you think that could break that wouldn't break the formula?
No, I think he's in such a good headspace, and we've talked to him about that. I don't. Well, on the other side of that, I don't know if
he works like an asshole. I mean, this guy, I don't know when he sleeps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's like, shit, if he got freedom from that, would it alter his flow?
And on the other side, I don't know if it would be like this crazy bump in performance either. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we would see something that, I think people just think, oh, the minute I can go full time, I'm going to be this amazing games athlete and do all these things, when he's doing the work already, right? Like, as long as he feels like he's in a position to where mentally he can stay sharp in his training, I think he's completely fine to do whatever he needs to do. But I would like to see him take a stab at it. I think my wife's a perfect example, right? Her whole career, in the best years of her career, she was working, going to PA school, and training for the games.
With a lot of travel. She spent a lot of time in a car, right?
Yeah. And the first year she was a pro athlete where she had no responsibilities other than being an athlete. Her last year of her career, she was more unhappy than ever. She was getting no fulfillment out of her life. And it was one of the most, I wouldn't say miserable, but unfun years of her career, because she just doesn't operate that way. And I don't know, Colton may be the exact same way. And it's hard to toe that line and figure out what's going to be on the other side.
Anyone else besides Vidison? Anyone else who will test out the camp this year that I would know?
Nobody new. No. We've had some people, like, we've had conversations in the off season, and we've either said no or just haven't moved forward with some people, because if everything goes well this year, we could have 15 plus games athletes. So we're also at a point where we don't want to overstretch our coaches and even overstretch the camp in a way that we're continuing to add just for the sake of adding, because we don't need that right now.
What do you think about Joey and Tim Paulson? Two coaches. I don't know Joey too well, so I don't know his background, but Tim Paulson was in the limelight, obviously, amazing athlete. Then he becomes a new coach, and he gets Olivia Kerstetter, which has got to be just a dream, right? You wake up in the morning and you're given just this insane slab of marble, right?
Yep.
Brand new and fresh, but still young veteran, like this trippy character. And then Joey, who's having has this real special athlete in Colton Mertens. What happens next for them? Or is that good for them, that they're building their confidence so early as young coaches at this elite level? Or is it kind of like, oh shit, too much, too quick, and the next people they get, you know what I mean? You're going to get someone who's like always taking, 17th at the game, and no one knows their name and there's no attention around them.
I think the really cool thing for both of those guys is that it started off on a very personal relationship basis with us, where I knew them as people and I knew what their thought processes were. And Joey and I go back to 2015, 2016. Like, he competed with Taylor way back in the day, like very personal, like had never talked business before. He actually approached me in 2023 at a semifinal he was competing at. And he's like, hey, I see what you guys are doing. If you ever need another coach, like I'd love to just have the conversation. And like I didn't think much of it then because at that time, going like we were talking about before, we didn't have one-on-one coaching as a business model. So there really wasn't an infrastructure for him. We launched that shortly after with Tim as the head of that and Dave, which is his business partner. And we brought him on. And from day one, these guys only had everyday athletes. So let's just like you were saying, maybe they're just getting into semifinals, or a mom who's just working to work out a little bit more. Like that's their main clientele. And to make money for those guys, they need 20 to 30 of them. And they're so used to that volume game of like, hey, I've got to be really on my communication. I've got to be on my programming if I want to make a living doing this, to where when we brought them into the camp, we could immediately give them these athletes that were at a very high level, and the skills that they had been developing over the years could finally show. And for them to work directly with Shane and see, hey, here's how I believe in things. Here's how I've done it over the years. And I don't want to teach you to do exactly what I think, but then you can add your skills on top of that. That's what we're seeing now. And I think now with the 9 coaches that we have, it's not always making them believe the way that we believe, but it's using the skills that they've had from their life experiences working with other athletes, and then adding in the Shane and the Kiefer and the methodology that we believe in that's taking them to the next level. So I think they're going to always have those athletes that maybe, let's call them lower level, semifinals level athletes, or trying to get into quarterfinals. But they're at a point now where I could give them Tia, Ricky, Jay, Maddie, and they feel comfortable with that because they've gotten to that level on the high end too.
So basically what you're saying is I mischaracterized them. They have cut their teeth. Someone even said here, I used to follow Tim Paulson's Forge Zeus programming. So they're not Vanilla Ice characters where they're one hit wonders and they got lucky. You're saying, hey, these guys have a pedigree, not only in competing, but in training with your everyday athletes to quarterfinals, semifinals. And then to me, just from the outside, superficially, it looks like they just arrived overnight. You're saying they did not.
Yeah, these guys have been doing this a long time, right? I think they've always been in that position. And David and Tim ran Forged by Zeus, and we can call it acquired, right? We brought their company into ours, and that's how we started that. And they launched the one-on-one program, and that kind of just opened up a door to say, hey, if you want to start having access to these higher level athletes, if you feel like you can meet our standard of coaching, let's have a conversation. And that's where we can kind of start. And that's what's happened with basically all of our one-on-one coaches. Now, Kiefer was a little bit different because he's in a role of directing these guys. So his role goes a little bit deeper than just coaching day to day, but he was in the same boat, right? He saw what we were doing, what we were building, and he wanted to be a part of it. And all the guys that we've brought in have had great history of coaching athletes of all levels.
Felicia Martinez. My sister goes to the gym Tim Paulson used to own, Paulus, and he was a great coach.
Yeah. And
okay,
I will say,
so he used to own an affiliate too. Okay.
Every one of our coaches used to be an affiliate coach. There isn't a single person that we have that didn't start in an affiliate. And I truthfully believe like it all stems from having your L1, right? Like if you didn't do that on day one, you're never going to be able to understand where we're coming from as a brand and kind of what we believe in and where it's got us over time. I think right now, so Dwight he runs Sanitas, so Eric Rose's gym. So he's the full-time manager there. And then on our affiliate side, Tim had Palace. Joey was the head time coach at Grandview in Ohio by Rogue. Kiefer was an affiliate guy. I was an affiliate guy. And everybody that we had, that's just where they started.
Sevon, if you have never had Tim on since he retired and became a coach, you've got to have him on here. I know. I keep wanting to have Joey and Tim and Shane and Tia on. Nick's going to help me with that as soon as we're done with the show. I sent Shane my obligatory 6-month text.
He said so
2 days ago. I'm like, Shane, it's time. I always send him that. Like, it's time. Come on.
You just got the thread of that every 6 months.
How much are you on the road personally? Like in a year?
Oh, this year it's been crazy. Since we've gotten to the whole Hyrox world, it's kind of just adding a new sport on top of CrossFit. So typically we would have the CrossFit season where as much as it changes, you know the months where you're going places, right? You know when quarterfinals and semifinals the games are. And now with Hyrox, there's a race every weekend. So depending on where we're going, I think I've traveled at least once a month for the year now.
And tell me about the branch out to Hyrox. I saw this young man somewhere on one of your guys' Instagram, either on Provenance or your personal. So like, who is this? This Luke.
So this is a guy. I'll give full credit to his agent, who I don't even know. It's so funny because his name is spelled in the way I don't know how to pronounce it because he's Scottish. We just call him Rudy. But he owns an agency, and it's like Ruairi. It's just a Scottish name, and he runs an agency called Havoc that is out of Scotland. He works with a lot of Hyrox athletes, but also CrossFitters. Like Jen Muir is one of his athletes. And so he honestly just reached out to me one day organically. And he said, hey, I know what Proven's trying to do on the Hyrox side. I've got a young kid that is going to have a bright future in this sport. Do you guys think you could take a chance on him? And we had some really great calls. We had him out to Nashville. And since then, he's been completely bought into what we're doing. I think the kid's got an amazing future in front of him. And it's going to be interesting to see because he's only 19 right now. And the things that he can do on the track are pretty incredible. He's just missing a lot of that foundational strength and things that we can teach him from the CrossFit side too.
So what does that look like? So you guys do programming and coaching for elite Hyrox athletes, and then who is his coach?
His coach is James Newberry, which you would know, obviously.
Okay. Yep.
But yeah, exactly. So what we saw was like, hey, in this and it all comes from Tia wanting to just compete last year in Hyrox. That was got our foot in the door, and we had some really good conversations with Hyrox as a whole and their leadership, which has been awesome. And when you start looking at that sport, and I call it a sport on purpose, right? Because that's what it is. Like that's what people are looking for. They're probably where CrossFit was in 2014, 2015. Nobody knows what's going on. They don't know where to look for coaching. They don't know where to look for programming. They're just trying to figure it out. We've got that figured out, and it was something that we could step in very easily and help athletes with. So right now we're in the midst of growing out the more elite level side of the athletes. And we've just brought in a coach who's going to help us with that, who's also an athlete himself. And he just won the regional championship in DC. But obviously now we have a massive community online of people that just love following the program and getting a little bit better. And the way we look at it is a little bit different than most people in the Hyrox world because we have that strength bias and background of CrossFit where we want more people to be doing that side of the sport and getting better on the stations and then the work that way. The running's the running, right? Running's been around for hundreds of years and not many people are going to come up with innovative ways to get better at that. We know we have skills that can help people get better in the other areas.
Will Proven do Hyrox camps this way they do the CrossFit camps where the athletes descend on Nashville and get it in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll have one going into Worlds this year. Like I mentioned, Cole Learn is going to be the new head guy for us, and he's going to bring in some of the best athletes that are working with us in the world right now. We'll do probably 2 to 3 weeks leading into when they leave. Their Worlds is in Stockholm, so that'll be in June. So end of April, early May, we'll have a full group here at HQ, and we'll run them through how we do things from a games camp scenario, but obviously it's for Hyrox, and we'll show them how we do things.
Is Xenom on your radar?
Yeah, crazy enough, right? Like it felt like it came out of nowhere. And we on it, truthfully, I feel like we usually have a good inside track on when things like that are happening, but we had no idea. And I think a lot of people are in the same boat. So it's been cool to see, one, the response, because it seems like people are actually pretty excited about it. But two, just trying to figure out where that fits in everything going on at once, right? Like I've had some good conversations on people from the inside with them, and it sounds like they've got a really good idea of what the possibility is. And their standpoint too is like, hey, we're not trying to take away from anything, but I think there's an opportunity to give CrossFitters that same feeling that some people are getting with Hyrox, where they can come in, they can plan a trip somewhere, they can go with their family, and it's an in and out, and they have a good time doing it.
Will Proven send a cohort, a team to Xenom to test out the first one?
I think it's tough because it's in June, right? Like at that point, we're full games training. I think some athletes that don't make the games, from what I've heard, are trying to do it, which will be really fun. But I don't know how much will be involved on the very first one.
Could Joey, if Joey took on Dallin Pepper as a client, could Dallin win the games?
That's a tough one. I don't know enough.
I know it's a pretty crazy question. Could he just take whatever he taught Colton about running and teach Dallin, and Dallin win the games? I mean, that's really. I mean, Dallin figures out the running, and it's like.
I know if Shane,
we're going to dynasty mode.
Yeah, I would, if you asked me that and put Shane there, I would say yes immediately, just because I truly believe that the intangibles that Shane brings to his athletes is at that level. I don't know enough about Dallin and what goes on behind the scenes to answer that with anybody else. But yeah, man, Dallin's got it all. Dallin's one of those guys that we've been watching for a really long time. And from a skill basis and just talent level, he obviously puts in the work. But that guy, he's got a champion in the making for sure. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Do you there's talk about how big he's been looking. And, you know, we kind of saw Noah Olson blow up like that, too. Do you think that there's any concern about an athlete getting too big?
I think it depends on the programming, right? Like as last year, if programming continues that way, then maybe it's not an issue. But I think if we go back to some of the earlier games that we've experienced and you're looking at guys like Ricky that their body types because of more running, and let's say we go back to the ranch and there's a lot more outdoor body weight work that needs to be done, I don't think that helps him. I think he would definitely want to be lighter for that. It's just hard to know, right? Because the programming is just changing every year.
Lucy McGonigal, 19, 18?
19.
Yeah. And she took third or fourth in 26.3?
Yep.
But not so good in 26.1.
Or 2.
Or 2. What I would have thought for sure someone who had the capacity that she showed in 26.3 would have done better at 26.1, another, big capacity. What is that?
Yeah, it was interesting because she was really frustrated by that as well. And she got here to Nationals. She's here right now. And she's actually staying all the way through Mayhem Classic, which is going to be awesome. She arrived maybe 3 or 4 days before the first open workout. And we sat her down. We're like, hey, like you're changing time zones. I know you don't believe in jet lag as a 19-year-old, but give it 2 weeks before you actually feel like yourself, and then come back to us. Because she just didn't feel good. She would finish workouts. She'd say, hey, I just don't feel like myself. I feel like I might just be dragging through some things. And she felt like that in the first open workout that didn't reflect her fitness. And then we saw, hey, 2 weeks after she got here, that third workout, she absolutely smashed. So I feel like she's in a headspace now that's much better, and she just needed to acclimate a little bit to the environment, to the time zone. She's been training completely alone back home, which is tough, and why we wanted to get her over here, because just being around more people in the gym and training together on a daily basis is going to be huge for her.
Not just alone, but basically she trains in a closet. I mean, it's a garage, but it's the world's smallest garage.
In cloudy and rainy Ireland too, it doesn't help.
Yeah. How big is how high is the ceiling for her? Is it the potential just crazy?
Yeah, I don't truthfully, I believe that Olivia and Lucy are going to be battling to win the games for as long as they want at one point. I believe those two ladies are going to be, I was going to compare it to Laura and Tia, but I think it'll be closer than that rather than just Tia winning all the time. I think those two will go back and forth for as long as they want to.
Yeah. Lucy's one of the really exciting, obviously Olivia is too, but Lucy's very exciting because you can see that there's going to be these huge gaps she's going to jump. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she's even just from a maturity standpoint, and not mentally, but physically, she's becoming just an adult, right? And she's starting to get some of those improvements where, as young kids, you see that extra hypermobility and some of those things that they've got to build on with strength. She's just starting to look like more of an adult when it comes to the movements in the gym, and you're going to see a completely different athlete this year, which is awesome.
When the culture and the boundaries and the guidelines that the athletes have, could you describe that to me in terms of the elite athletes at Proven? Are there rules? Even stuff as superficial as hey, don't put anyone on your social media unless you ask, or always put your equipment away, or are there guidelines like that?
Yeah, I would say the social stuff definitely not. Like that's one of those things where we want them to feel we never get involved with their agents or their deals. Like unless they're asking us for help, that's one of those things where we kind of keep an arm's length. Like we want our athletes to know that when you're in here, we only care about you as an athlete getting better. We're not here to make you promote things, make you do sales. Like that's we're not a sponsor. Like I think that's definitely something that we want to make sure of. But from a standard level, like I think that's why some people don't fit in here because we expect over the moon standards when it comes to what you're doing within these four walls. Like if you have a dumbbell that's pointed backwards and the Rogue logo isn't exactly where it needs to be, you're going to be called on it immediately. If you leave some chalk on the rig that you may have put your hand on, you're going to be called on it immediately. And it's become, it's not a joke, but it's great to see because a lot of these people don't think this way when they come in, and just depends on how they were raised in their home life or maybe a different camp that they came from, where you're just basically getting yelled at for the whole first month that you're here, right? Because we're just trying to get you to a level, and we're never going to skirt around issues. We're never people that are going to be extra nice to you or baby you because you're new. You're going to step into the fire day one, and you're going to either get on board or you're going to get out.
So it kind of reminds me of the military a little bit. How you do everything is how you do anything. And so like, and these obviously aren't the rules at Proven, but in the military, your hair has to be cut, your bed has to be made perfect, your boots and shirt have to be perfect. And so those are the types of things you guys are like, hey, we have a way of doing things here and you need to fit in with these things.
Yeah, and non-negotiable, right? It's not just we want you to do this. It needs to be something that you do, because once we talk about having 10 plus athletes in one space, if those things aren't happening, it can get out of hand pretty quickly to where people just don't feel respected.
Is Sydney Wells a proven athlete?
Yeah, oh yeah.
She is, okay.
Yep.
Will the AC be used this summer at Proven?
Only for the offices, for us people that do work. Never in the gym, never one time. That's a Tia and Shane thing for sure. And we've got a amazing HVAC system in this amazing building that will never be touched when it comes to the cool.
Okay, but the offices will get it turned to like 77 degrees to bring it from 87 to 77.
Yeah.
So is Tia's second baby, is that a planned baby?
Yeah. They've always talked about since day one. They've wanted a lot of kids, and I don't know what a lot of kids looks like. Maybe this is it. Maybe they do more. But there always been people that have talked about wanting to have a family and wanting to raise more than one for sure. I think it's very funny that it's just the exact timetable as the last one. It's just like, hey, at this point, we know exactly when the babies are going to come because it's right after the games, and then they're going to have the baby in May, and then we'll move on to the next season. So it'll be interesting to see what happens after this one.
What was her takeaway from Hyrox from doing it a year? I got the impression that maybe her body felt better. And she was more, and that's why she was happy to come back to CrossFit, that somehow she got some reprieve from the CrossFit training.
Yeah, I think it was interesting because you look at the training and you look at the competition, and it's very similar. Obviously, you don't have heavy barbells and things like that, but the difference that it made with how she felt physically was night and day. I think she looks at Hyrox now and she said, hey, I could do that for the next 10 years, and the training would be easier than training for 1 year of the CrossFit Games. So it's one of those longevity things of like, I do think we will see a lot of games athletes that once they get done with CrossFit, they're going to want to go and just do some Hyrox. And if it's something that helps with their sponsors and they can make some money that way, they can do it as long as they want.
Do you think that it's the burden of carrying that extra 10 pounds of muscle and the inflammation that comes with that kind of training, that it's like, oh, like your body gets a break from that?
I think it's more so just the amount of concentric movements that these guys have to do on a daily basis to be prepared for their sport. They just have to train so many disciplines, where I watch our new head coach and athlete, Cole, that I mentioned. When he trains, that guy is doing 80% of his training in zone 2 that is very low impact, because they just have to build these aerobic bases where although you're working out, you're recovering at the same time. Like your joints are being recovered. Everything's getting into a state that is refreshed and you feel good at the end of the day, rather than our games athletes that every morning they wake up, they don't know how their body is going to adapt to what they have to do the next day.
So Tia Do you know, is there a due date for the baby? A rough due date?
Yeah, second week of May.
Okay. So we could possibly see her at the games with 2 kids.
Yes.
Like walking,
Yep.
like hanging out.
Yep.
And at the 20-year anniversary of the games. And I know she's very, she has the ability to choose on a moment's notice. Any idea of what she'll do after the baby comes out? Will she start moving towards another Hyrox year or a CrossFit year?
You and me know the same amount about that right now. I think we talked about it last year, right? Like, she didn't decide on the games last year until March, truthfully. Like, and Shane doesn't know. I don't know. That she's one of the only people that I know.
Maybe she doesn't know.
And that's what I was going to say. Like, she truly just goes month by month on how she feels. I think we could be walking into her never stepping foot on any competition floor again if she wants that, or she could go for, like I said, another couple years in CrossFit, another 10 years in Hyrox. I think maybe she takes some years off and then comes back later. I don't know. I think she's open-minded to the fact that wherever her brain tells her she needs to go, she's going to make a decision quickly and go there.
Okay, so she has to feel how this pregnancy is, the time allocation for babies, what she's inspired by, etc.
Because I think she's in that boat, right? You hear Rich and I have talked about this from when I was there. Like, his body just couldn't handle it anymore. He had some knee issues. He had those things where, like, it's just not doable. He is not in that position, right? Like, physically, she's fine. She can do whatever she wants. And I think it just comes down to how she feels after baby number 2. And if that mental spark is there, which I know her and Shane have talked a lot about, hey, let's just give you some downtime and figure this out. Like, let's see where you feel after this for a while and not rush back into things. And then you just let us know what you want to do.
That's crazy. How old is she?
31 or 32.
Oh, man, she's so young still.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How many? She has 8 wins?
Yeah, I selfishly, and I think a lot of us would be in the same boat of would love to see 10. That would be crazy.
Have you ever heard her talk about that? Does she ever mention? Have you ever heard her say the number 10?
Yeah, I remember there's a cool story. So we went over and we did a video for her and Shane from our media team last year, and Brandon, our main guy, made this really awesome video of a look back on her career a little bit, because I think a lot of us thought last year was going to be it. There was a lot of talk about that, and we never know, right? But we treated it that way, and we came up with this really cool video that just kind of showed where all of us started, right? Like, as Proven, we started with them on day 1 and kind of a look back on that. And it was probably a 5-minute video, and it was just kind of like everybody in silence afterwards. And then all of a sudden, everybody there was just like, screw this, we're going for 10. That fired us up. We're doing this. And she talked about that. And it's definitely not something that she's ever said absolutely not to. So it's very interesting because that carrot is there.
It's a little gross and a little, I don't know what the word is, but it's fucked up because it's so hard to win one CrossFit Games. It is so hard.
Yeah.
It is bonkers to win one.
Yeah.
And the journey you have to go, the open, the quarterfinals, the semifinals, the games, just everything, right? Emotionally, physically, it's just brutal. And then her goal isn't to win 9, but 10. I mean, it's just, there's something about it that I almost feel like an asshole even talking about it because it's just not fair to her. Do you know what I mean? It's like, Jesus, how about just compete one more time?
Yeah.
But no, she has to win 2 more. I mean, just to make it to the games is nuts, right?
Yeah, I think finally, because I would say around 5 and 6 when she was winning, if she went back for 7 and lost, I think people are like, oh, she's washed up. I think people are finally in that state of respect where, let's say she went for 9 and got second. I don't think it changes anything in people's minds finally. You know what I mean? I think she's finally imprinted her legacy on this thing of no one will ever touch what she's done. It's never going to happen again. And to your point, it's just so crazy to think about because we look at guys like Ricky, for example. And we want him to win more than anything. Like, we want that guy on top of the podium and what he's been through and how hard it is to just get that 1%. And like this year we looked back on it and it was basically him getting 15 more pounds on a back squat and he's staying on top of the podium. You know, those little tiny margins. And then you think about what she's been able to do year after year and it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. When people like Lucy Campbell pop up on the radar, does that inspire her? Like, is she craving competition?
Oh, absolutely. I think that fires her up more than most things, right? I think there's been a few years where it's very easy for her, but she doesn't enjoy those. There's not as much satisfaction there, to where I remember last year at this time when we were at Wodapalooza, truthfully, Lucy was just coming back, and I don't think a lot of people had her on anybody's radar. And obviously she wins Wodapalooza and she beats Laura. And like throughout that weekend, I remember talking to Shane, and Shane's like, "Oh yeah, that's my girl to watch this year." And I'm like, what do you mean? Why? And it's just those things that they think through, because they're always one step ahead of, like, Shane already had all of her PRs laid out. He knew exactly what all of her metrics were. He knew where she was coming from, what her past injuries were. And they start planning those things out months and months in advance to be prepared for who they have to beat. And that's something that I've seen that they do differently and better than everybody else.
Not to sound like a cheese dick, but Lucy's very professional.
Mm-hmm.
She has an air about her that you can tell she's serious as a heart attack.
Yep.
You know, like this is not like, hey, I just happen to be good at this and I'm going to do it to kill time. Like,
yep.
I think I heard you talk about it at the Glinton. Some people like the idea of wanting to be a professional athlete, and some people are kind of like here to win. And like Lucy's like here to win. Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like we don't have many more of those, truthfully. Like, especially like we were talking about before with the social media and the marketing side, it's so much easier to feel like you're a professional than you actually are. And I would say we've probably got a total of 5 to 6 people in this sport who believe they could be champions long term. And it's interesting to see.
Yeah. 5 to 6 combined on women's and men, or just in the women's side?
I think so. Yeah. I think combined.
Interesting. Those going back to the Boys Interrupted, they put themselves in a really interesting situation because they're all 4 of them are friends, and you can tell like those are really competitive guys.
Yep.
Like they really, really want to win. I wonder if I always wonder about if they're ever going to have a. You know, they had that moment between James and Jason at the ranch where James got hit with the belt. Mm-hmm. And I always wonder, because right there, in a way, they're kind of walking a fine line there.
Yeah. That's something we've talked about a lot in that scenario. And it's very interesting, and why we set up things the way we set them up. And I think, did you see the clip of Jason talking to Jay and Ricky about like, behind the scenes and who they would want to win if it wasn't them?
Oh yeah.
And that's truthfully like, and man, Tia and Shannon and I were talking about that once it came out, and it's like one of those moments that like makes you so proud, because everything that we make them do on a micro level then shows on a macro level without us having to tell them that, right? They've learned that. Ricky's been here only for a year, and now he's already in the mindset of like, hey, if I'm not going to do this, Colton or Jay are going to do it because they're my teammates. Although we're competitors at the end of the day, we only want the best for the guy that lines up next to me within our team. And right now, I think the scary thing for those guys that you mentioned, although they are maybe coached by the same camp, I truthfully don't know if they feel that. Well, they obviously don't feel that same way from Jason's standpoint, but I don't think they feel that same way, which could come to a head at some point, which is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I always forget about that. So James, Jason, and Dallin all the same camp. I always forget that. Yeah, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And is your camp female heavy? Is it 12 women and 3 men?
Men would be Chris.
Oh yeah, I forgot Ibarra. Yep.
Chris, Callion, Jay.
Colton, Callion Souza's your guy Ricky. Too?
Wow. Yeah, he's been for a while, 3 years now.
Wow, he's dope.
Yeah, so 5 games level guy. Oh, and Isaac, so 6, and Bailey Martin, 7. So
Okay.
it's getting to be a little bit more balanced. I think we used to
Okay.
be known kind of just for having women, but it's balancing out for sure.
Speaking as someone who figured out social media, Bailey's brother figured out social media.
Yeah, those guys are a riot, man.
Yeah, he totally figured it out. Like, hey, whatever. Just throw. Yeah, I had him on the show the other day. I can't believe I haven't had him on more. He needs to just do the circuit. Every podcast should have him on.
Yeah.
He's a great ambassador for the sport too.
Yeah, I like those, and those guys are like day one OG, just CrossFit affiliate kids. You know what I mean? Like they've done this their whole life. They're young and they just love what they're doing day to day. And I think you find that a lot in Australia because it's one of the main sports over there. Like kids have just grown up doing CrossFit, which is very cool. And at a young age, they feel like they've been around for a long time.
How good is Kaylee Souza? Can we? The boys were saying like he'll be at the games.
Yeah, I think every year that he's been with us, he's grown exponentially, and he's still young. And I think you've probably seen him in person, but the dude's a freak. Like he's just built differently.
Yeah.
And his height sometimes gets in the way, right? Like there's range of motion issues there, but from his power output standpoint, like he'd be as good as the best guys up there with Jason and those guys when it comes to all that. And we just got to figure out a couple weakness issues. But getting back to the games, I don't see an issue with him at all. It's just continuing to improve his placements because I think we did the math out. He's got an average of, I think, 8 place difference every year, which is awesome. And obviously that gets tight towards the top the longer you go, but we want him to feel like he's continuing to get better.
Yeah. And always smiling.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy, like a good dude to be around at all times.
Great attitude. Okay, you were on the Glinton things. I want to play this talk you give here. Let me see, make sure I'm on the...
Pressure is a privilege, and that's not built for everyone.
Okay, here we go.
Wearing the same outfit. World, you're used to dealing with other people's money to where, hey, if I was a CEO of my old company, I could very easily just hire all these different people to do all the things that I do here and make my life very easy. I wouldn't need to push hard. I could pay all these other people to do it. And hey, over time, it might work, but it's probably not going to work because those people don't have the vision and the passion that I do for this. They don't care.
Okay. This is so crazy poignant. Because you just described what it was like to work at CrossFit HQ in the early days. We had Greg's vision, everyone took ownership, and we were a startup company. And so, like, it was fucking all hands on deck, 365, 24/7. I mean, it was a machine. And now, since Greg sold the company, in a nutshell, you described what they have there. They have people who are running it like a corporation and are just plug and play. And so you have people who they have their fucking email notifications. I'm on a 2-week break. Contact this person. Like, you were an asshole if you did that when we were at CrossFit. You know what I mean? Like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, hey, if you were on vacation, you went into an affiliate and made a video while you were there. You know what I mean? You still see Dave's like that. Anywhere Dave goes, he's dropping into affiliates. There's no compartmentalizing your fucking life. And when I hear, I just heard you describe old HQ and a new HQ. That is that and when you were saying that, I was thinking about the Mayhem Empire, that they still have that startup mentality too, probably because Rich is still there, and you can tell the reverence they all have for him. Right? There's this obligation not to, like, you see if you're being a shitbag, you see the guy who you're taking food off of his plate. You know what I mean? Whereas if you're a shitbag at a corporation, you don't see the guy who you're shortening. There's nothing personal. I know that's a long way down the road for Proven, maybe 20 years, but it's interesting that you're so aware of that because of where you came from, right? You saw like the 5 employees who have jobs in a 20-person team that you don't need, but they're still there.
I think, money makes things easy, right? And easy is never a good thing when it comes to growing, not a company, but a brand and a community, right? Because you need the ability to really connect with people. And if you just are in this to make your life easier, I think that's when a lot of balls get dropped. And that's what we see, right? I mean, let's call it what it is. CrossFit grew to a really impressive place. And I mean, the amount of money coming in there from what was created when you were there in the early days it's awesome. Like, to look back on that and maybe take a screenshot of those years, it looks amazing. And then you can see an exact screenshot of what happened afterwards. And it was because people just got complacent and comfortable in what they were doing. And that's just one of my big...
And there was no accountability. You were accountable to fucking Greg or someone. Like, I'll just give you an example. Let's say you were a camera guy at HQ in the early days. Your camera kit always was immaculate because it was your baby. Then as it turned more corporate, like, no one gave a fuck. You're checking your camera into the room. Fucking lens caps are off. Fucking memory cards are lost. Like, they'll just buy more. No one gives a shit. You know what I mean? And it's like I'll give you an example. This is probably, maybe, I don't know if it's a good example, but Proven gets so big that you have someone who always points the dumbbells the right way and they walk around and that's their job. And then everyone, you think that that's a nice thing, but really it turns everyone into an asshole.
That's 100%. Yeah, absolutely. And I think what I've seen, I'll call out 2 companies I've seen this on a macro level work really well. I think one is Rogue, right? What Bill and Katie do, and the ability of theirs to
once again, they're on site and you're accountable to them. Hey, Katie's walking around with the hard hat, right?
And that's exactly what I was going to say, right? Like, they are literally on the ground at every event. You can see them working. Yeah. They are an inspiration to the people that they hire and that work for them, because, hey, if they are the hardest workers in the room, you can't slack off, because then what excuse do you have? And I think the other one that I've just noticed over the last year, it's been really cool to see, is the Hyrox guys. Christian, one of the owners, he will literally be at any race you ever go to, and he's not having meetings. He's not just sitting around having coffee with important people. He is literally on the floor talking to judges and judging people and just being a fan of what he's built. And that's why they are in the position they're in. And I think that's a big thing for me to say, and people won't believe that, but that's just a culture thing. Like, if that's starting from the top down, nobody else can feel like they're in a position where they can't hold that same standard. And that's what we want to create.
The original GP, that's a cop-out statement. Businesses can absolutely be personal. I'm not sure what you're referencing, but they can be. But I'm telling you, it only takes one bad apple to be sitting on his hands, and everyone else will that will spread like a wildfire. That it will spread like a wildfire, and when the resentment builds that so-and-so's fucking taking 2 weeks off, jerking off surfing in El Salvador, and not visiting affiliates and not always contributing, it's not good. Someone hates to hear about Hyrox. No, I don't hate to hear about Hyrox. Not even a little bit. I'm not a Hyrox hater. I've never been a Hyrox hater. This is a good question. What? Someone's actually judging at Hyrox? I would say something like that.
maybe that's why he's on the floor so much. He's got to figure that out.
How did the name Proven come about?
Oh, I actually just told this story to somebody 2 days ago. So, and not to go off tangent, but we actually just hired a brand new on-site media guy, and you would love it because he doesn't know anything about CrossFit. He's never been an affiliate before he came here, didn't know what the open was before we shot 26.1, and he's learning everything for the very first time, which we haven't seen in so many years. And it's just so refreshing to see that lens from someone, because they just are a brand new face to everything. Like, didn't know who Shane and Tia were, which is just crazy and not something we have ever thought of within the last 5 years of doing this. And so I was talking to him about this. And if you remember back in the day when they did the podium, all the athletes would wear shirts that said Proven, Proven. And that was when Tia won for the first time. And that's where the whole idea comes from of Proven PRVN, was when she first started winning. The company was made after that, and that was from those shirts that they would wear.
Who decided? Do you know who at HQ decided to have the word Proven on there?
It's Tia and Shane. It was just the two of them before any of us, right? So that was kind of their baby and what they came up with back then.
Oh, that wasn't the leader's jersey that CrossFit gave.
At HQ, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't remember, but if you go look, because even Taylor, when she was on the podium with team, she has one. I still have it in my closet where it was gold, silver, bronze, and then in the lettering it was Proven, and that's what they called the podium. Yeah, if you Googled it, you'd be able to find it quick.
I wonder who it. I wonder if Hobart knows. Because it was on the leader jersey. That's what you're saying, right?
The podium. So when the comp
podium,
ended
oh.
and they would stand on the podium, that's where it was.
I wonder if that was Cole Carroll. That's interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, shit, it's a great name. You guys happy with it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's awesome. Any thoughts about do you guys have any thoughts about the future of CrossFit and its leadership? Or do you personally have any thoughts about the future as Don's gone? We're entering into the 20th anniversary. The people person's gone who set the culture for the company is gone. Any thoughts on that?
I think I look at it as a lens of two options, right? The one option is we continue doing things how it used to be done, honestly, to where the games and affiliates are very intertwined. They're there together. They're growing at the same time. And I do believe there's still a world where that can work. But I also am not blind to the fact that we're starting to bump up against some organizations that are just sport focused. And I think there may be an opportunity there to where, hey, we've got our affiliates and we continue doing that. And we have to put them into a boat to where affiliates have to be the priority. And we grow those again from not only a breadth standpoint, but also a value standpoint of what we are giving to them and what we are arming them with to help people come into their gyms. But then we have to separate the sport from that from an infrastructure standpoint, where that might look like raising some additional money to put just into a sporting infrastructure tour or whatever that looks like. But my thought process on that is I can see both sides. But my number one issue and my number one concern is going back to what we just talked about, where there's another CEO that comes in that is just good on a piece of paper. And it's just somebody that has accolades in tech or in accolades in some sort of business that has nothing to do with what we know should be done in affiliates. And that's my biggest concern with all of this, because we've seen what happens when that happens time after time. And whoever steps into this role and whoever takes us forward into where we want to go needs to be something that started in this space, has been in affiliates, and that understands what affiliates need every single day.
My standpoint is on the games, for the games to grow, there's only one way: the open has to grow. I don't think that the sport, I don't think the fruit on the tree gets bigger any other way, not through sponsors or media or blah, blah, blah. I think just sheer numbers of the open, if you got 1 million people entering the open, the sponsorship money would be fucking crazy, would just pour in. And then on the company side, I think the company has just lost the mantle of being the greatest health and fitness organization in the world with the greatest trainers in the world. So basically they have to, Greg held on to that mantle with the iron fist. Thoughts on that? Do you have any pushback on that, or?
No, I truly believe we lost our way for a few years there of really diving into this life-changing thing that is CrossFit, right? We tried to be everything for everyone. And I can understand that with the goal of growing from you look at it from a tech standpoint, right? Trying to get customers in the door and growing subscribers and whatever that may look like, you have to open up an audience at some point. And I understand from a very base level tech standpoint, that makes sense on a piece of paper. But we know, right, from day one, the only way you do that with affiliates is by genuinely connecting them to people coming into their gym that need to change their lives, right? We need to be able to tell people that when you walk through this door, this isn't just about a workout. This is about you changing your life and putting you in a position to where for the rest of your life as a human and for your kids and the kids after them, you give them an example that you don't have to be sedentary and you don't have to be in pain anymore. You can do things that will make your life better for the long term. And that's not just coming from an Orange Theory or sitting on a rower or working on your heart rate. That comes from really hard work and being coached at a level that the standard is high as it is in CrossFit.
Taylor Williamson's his wife, arguably one of the top 4 best team games athletes who ever lived. Maybe the best female team games athlete who ever lived. Yeah, and I understand the temptation from an outsider thinking that, hey, I see apples on that tree and I'm going to tend to the apples to make them bigger and better, when really, hey, dude, it's all at the roots. Like you're just misguided. I understand how it is, but what you're thinking, but it's misguided. You better focus on the roots, like you
And
said, the affiliates. And
from our side, like we have an affiliate program, right? Like we give programmings to gyms, which then opens up a door for us to work with these affiliates on an everyday basis. And I would say over the last couple of years, we have grown as much as we have because there's been a downfall on the HQ side because they're not getting value from that affiliation anymore. They're coming to people like us to help them run their businesses and grow their businesses and figure out what their members truly need because we're at the ground level. We've got guys, like I said before, that are in affiliates every single day, and it hasn't changed much. I think that's the craziest thing about this is affiliates are affiliates. There's really not this big problem that needs to be solved if we continue just doing what we've been doing every single year and what you guys built back in the day. And the core issue here is that we just have to be able to service more people and give our affiliate owners the tools they need to grow successful businesses. Because we could have the best coaches and trainers in the world at a gym, but if they're not bringing money in and if they're not able to pay their bills, like they can't keep those gyms open. And that's what we've been able to kind of dig into and give our experiences to those gym owners, that although you're getting the best workout program for your members, how can you make additional money on top of that? How can you bring more people in? How can you use your marketing to create more leads? And then just continuing diving into that. CrossFit's got to get back to a point to where the affiliate owners are seeing the value from their affiliation on that side as well.
how is the affiliate doing?
Oh, amazing. It's like, I would say year one was tough for us because we didn't have this direct connection to the everyday person, if that makes sense. We were an elite brand for elite athletes. And I think a lot of people
not just elite, but Tia stood on the mountain all by herself.
Yep. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. And people had a barrier up there and they thought, hey, this HQ is only for elite athletes. This HQ is only for people that want to win the games. And we had a hard time getting people in the door. And we had to kind of reshift that of going out to the community in Nashville and going out and having events and showing we've got this amazing group of people that they only want to continue getting better in life. They don't care about being a good athlete. They don't care about winning a championship. And that's what we've been able to foster this year. And there's a good clip the other day that Brandon put up on our page during Friday Night Lights, was just me talking about all the new faces we have in the gym. And I think we've been doing this so long. You've been doing this so long. We're not used to seeing those brand new people walk into the gym for the first time and just get immersed in community and try to see, hey, this is something I've never seen before. I'm used to going to a Globo gym where everybody puts their headphones in and sticks to themselves. Now I've got a trainer who can look at me and tell me exactly what I'm doing right, doing wrong. But then I've got someone next to me that's going through the exact same journey. And we've seen this huge influx of people, and whether it's them coming in for Hyrox or they're just coming in because of the great building and equipment we have, we're turning them into full-time CrossFit members, and they're getting back to the early days of, hey, I just want to get in here, work really hard, and do it with people that are like me.
Are drop-ins big at Proven?
Huge. Yeah. I think we're 500 plus a month.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's the city, right? Like, I think a lot of people just come to Nashville. I think obviously people like Mayhem and Cookeville have a lot, but you don't fly into Cookeville. So it gets even harder. Where in Nashville, we're 10 minutes from the airport. People will drop in just for the day when they're on a layover at that point.
Wow, that's amazing. I love hearing that. And the community's grown big. Like, you have a big 5 a.m. class.
Huge. Yeah, I think 30 plus people every day, 20 to 30 people in there. Yeah.
Who's in charge of who's the gym manager there?
Her name's Sarah Radford. So she's actually been a huge part of this culture shift. She's been on for about a year with us now. And we had some issues year one, and she had to sit down and kind of overhaul those and start over, which was really good. And now she's the one driving the ship on all that. And we've got another, I'll call him a head coach, of Brad. And he's been just somebody that on a day-to-day level, like you said before, he's in it, right? Like, he knows every single member, what's going on in their lives. He's able to connect with them. And that makes the biggest difference for us.
By the way, I don't know how much longer it's going to be going, but yesterday, Gabe posted on the show, it must be coming very close to an end. It's 50% off at Paper Street Coffee right now. Use code Hog. I think it's Hog. But if you're going to order at Paper Street, you better hurry up. If the window hasn't closed, it's going to close any second. So do that. 50% off of coffee is crazy. And they have three flavors right now, 3 blends that will not be available online probably ever again. Oh, ends at 2 p.m. Eastern. Okay.
There you go.
Just like that. Hog. Yeah. So 50% off is pretty crazy.
That has been the best thing about this building for me is the coffee shop and Paper Street up front.
Oh yeah, how is that? That's a good fit. Coffee shop.
It's really good. Gabe's been here the last couple weekends, and just so I got connected with him the year Taylor went team with us, and they sponsored the team, and that was obviously before we had the gym, and we had a really good relationship there. And just to see where that's come over time has been really cool, and it's packed up there. They're doing a great job with the gym and the coffee shop up front.
It's weird because you think it'll be a perfect fit, but you still never know, right? Until it's into action. And it's a good cultural fit too, Gabe and Proven.
100%. Yep. I think all of his sponsored athletes now are all proven athletes.
Oh, relationships matter, people. Proximity and relationships matter. And I know Gabe has had some challenges with the athletes.
And that's a thing too, right? Like back to that standard of how we do things is brands see that, and brands come to us and they say, hey, we've had these terrible experiences with athletes. What about this person, this person, this person? And I can confidently now go to brands and say, I know every one of our athletes will hit this standard. They're not going to lie to you about what they're going to be able to produce, and they're going to be great fits for your brand, which is also just helpful for these athletes, which we want to definitely foster when it comes to working with them.
You know, I was just having a talk with my kids yesterday, 9, 9, and 11 with sponsorships. And if you have a sponsor and you're not feeling like my stance on sponsors is you should want your sponsor at the end of the day to think they took advantage of you. Your goal should be to be like holy, like if they gave you $10,000, they made $50,000 off of you. And they're like, holy shit. And I feel like a lot of people don't get that. Like, hey man, these people are giving their money to you. Their money to you, expecting to make more money.
Yeah.
And I just feel like sometimes I feel like a lot of people don't think that. They almost think like they're doing the brand a favor. And that will, and don't forget, if you're a sponsored athlete, all the brands are talking to each other too. Yeah. You may think they're competitors. They're all talking to each other. They all know. And so if you're not feeling, you should feel, as soon as you get a sponsor, you should feel this pressure to fucking pump their shit out. I mean, the example is this Colton. When Colton said he would do it live, I felt this crazy obligation. Like, I have to make sure that he walks away thinking like, oh, I made the 100% right decision to go live on their channel, exploit my gym, exploit my workout. Like we exploited him, right? And so I need him to feel like made whole, like he was made whole. Because him doing the workout on the channel is really like him sponsoring the channel.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's eyeballs.
Yeah, and I can't be like, well, lucky him that he got to do it. I have to be like, holy fuck, lucky us. 100%.
And we've played around.
I'm in a panic. Like, oh fuck, is Colton gonna leave whole? Yeah.
Yeah. We've played around with the idea because I truly believe, and I think we got into this on our last call, was it's an agent problem in this space and a lot of spaces, right? Because agents will promise the world to their athletes and tell them how great they are and how this brand is lucky to have them and all of these things. And they don't truly get into the economics of why this brand is doing what they're doing. And athletes just don't understand it. And although we've been around for as long as we've been around as a sport, it's still a new sport. And athletes just don't truly understand the value of what they can bring or not bring to the table. And what we've played around with the idea of is just having an agency in-house. And we've got enough contacts to where we could make that a reality to where, hey, if you're an athlete with us, you know how we think about things, you know how we go about business, and we're happy to do that for you, but you've got to hit the standards because now our brand's on the line as well. And we want to make sure that we are going into these conversations in a truthful and respectful manner, because I don't think we see enough of that from the agents in our space.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. Let me ask you this. Your media guy, where did you find him?
Brandon?
Yeah, the guy you said
who
didn't even know who Tia and Shane were.
Oh, our new guy. It's crazy. He walked into the gym one day, just wanted to try it. We actually had a job opening posted online, and he's like, "Hey, I just saw this was open. This is what I do as a job. I moved to Nashville on a whim just to try to do some more creative work within the country music. And he comes from bull riding, so the PBR space. He's like, I'd be interested in just having a conversation. And it came out to be that he was somebody we were looking for specifically on the creative side, a lot of work with podcasts and some of the stuff that we're looking to implement in the future, and just has come out to be a really good fit. And it's going to take some time to get him up to speed on a lot of the details, but what he might lack in knowledge on that side, he brings in creativity from other spaces, which is really useful.
And his ignorance may be bliss, because when people see his work, there's this, because we are in a bubble and we are in a cult, there's this assumption that everyone just knows everything and so little is explained. Yeah. And so he may bring some really fresh air shit that's grounded. So it doesn't feel like the good old boys club. Like, this podcast has been accused of that a bunch of times. Like, hey, I can't fucking follow what the fuck's going on because it's all inside shit and good old boys talk. Yeah.
If you look at Shane and Tia from just a foundational level and what we believe in here, it's like one of our standards and values is never stop learning. And that's one of those things, like I would come from the lens of I would rather somebody come in here and tell me what they think of my brand from the outside looking in and everything wrong with it than having a confirmation bias of everyone around me about how great we're doing. Right. Like there's no growth in that. And I had a conversation with our staff last night about AI, just using it in general. Right. And the more you talk to it, the more it just tells you how great you are and how all your ideas are amazing. Yeah. And like you can start thinking you're just the smartest person in the world. Nothing knowledge or education wise has changed. This machine has just learned how you think and it wants to make you feel good. So I think we're seeing a lot of that with people just getting too used to being comfortable and on easy street when it comes to that, where we want to search out the hard thing on both the athlete side and the business side so we can be told what's going wrong and then fix it.
Hey, this is funny, but also very sad and macabre. I think we're at 12 people have killed themselves because AI supported their suicide. Oh yeah, great idea. Great idea. You should do it. I'm with you.
Yeah. It's nuts.
It's like, holy shit.
I heard that on the radio one day and I couldn't believe it. So I went to look it up, and it's even more than that, right? Like in different countries, there's legislations trying to be passed where like just to combat that issue, which is crazy. We're even at that point.
Well, it's because people don't want AI to tell the truth. The thing is, once again, this is like this is like the misunderstanding too. Like this thing really, people want to censor it. But if you censor it and this thing's not allowed to tell the truth, that's when it's going to become a crazy tool of manipulation. And I think we've all seen it when you talk to AI. It becomes very obvious once someone points it out to you. Oh, this thing just wants to blow you.
Yep.
I even asked Rock one time. I'm like, hey, why does your voice change? And she said, I'm always when I'm talking to you. She's like, I'm always mirroring you. If I hear you're angry, I do this. If I hear you're happy, I do this. I'm like, holy shit.
It can get pretty dark pretty quick because people really believe it, right? That's the hard part. And if you use it, it's a great tool for just like a brainstorm standpoint, an execution standpoint. But like, that's what I was warning our guys. It's like, hey, use this to make your job easier, but don't use it to replace your creativity and your critical thinking.
Oh shit. Look at this. We've already made it, Nick. We've already made it. Let's see. We're already being exploited and used.
Dang.
Let's see what we
fast. Who do we got here?
Let's see what kind of controversial shit.
When you're in here, we only care about you as an athlete getting better. We're not here to make you promote things, make you do sales. Like we're not a sponsor. But from a standard level, like I think that's why some people don't fit in here, because we expect over the moon standards when it comes to what you're doing within these four walls. Like if you have a dumbbell that's pointed backwards and the Rogue logo isn't exactly where it needs to be, you're going to be called on it immediately. If you leave some chalk on the rig that you may have put your hand on, you're going to be called on it immediately. And it's not a joke, but it's great to see, because a lot of these people don't think this way when they come in, and just depends on how they were raised in their home life, or maybe a different camp that they came from, where you're just basically getting yelled at for the whole first month that you're here, right?
Damn, that was quick.
Jenny's quick.
Yeah.
I want to give her a shout out too, because what she's been able to do just on a consistency level has been awesome. Like she has been the most consistent person since she started all of this. And it's probably like the only thing that I see that pops up on my YouTube, I will click on every single time and listen to her videos.
It's amazing the people I know who are in the positions they hold that have never watched any CrossFit content and been involved with CrossFit forever, who now they watch Jenny. Going back to she has no media experience.
Yeah.
She was completely she completely just rubbed two sticks together and just made it work. And now she's got a cigarette lighter. You know what I mean? Maybe even a blowtorch.
Yeah. And that's what I like when I hire. That's what I'd rather see, right? I'd rather somebody come in, and we talk about the whole HQ CEO situation. I'm in the boat where let's get somebody in there that wants to get down and dirty and just learn. They may not be on paper or resume wise the person that fits the job, but people are dangerous when they're hungry and they want to learn.
Yeah. Yeah. And innovative, right?
Yeah, I got a good story for that too from Tia and Shane. Is like when Jenny was starting and it was just getting going. I remember those two don't, and just background, those two don't follow anything media wise. Like they don't even open their Instagrams half the time because they've got kids, they do their thing. And I remember Shane and Tia sent me like a group chat. They're like, "Who's this? Who's Denise? Like, what are these? Who's this Denise woman? I'm seeing these cool videos of all this CrossFit news. Who's Denise?" And I was like, all right, let's have a conversation because you're going to want to watch this. And it was just really funny because even then, like, it's hitting, right? The content is there no matter whether you get the background or where it's coming from. It's just great content when it comes to updating people on what's going on. And we love it.
Hey, speaking of content, Tia's character has quite a cool character arc. Like not only as an athlete, she may have been, stayed in one spot at the top, but as a person, the community I think has really evolved and warmed up to her.
Yep.
And yet she still holds a lot of mystique, I think.
I think she early on in her career was around some people that had her going down a bad path of, hey, you should be thinking of yourself as this just demigod of like, you're better than everyone. Like you don't need to connect with the community anymore. You don't need to do these things because, and who knows why that's the case, but I think we still see it with some athletes. But she's gotten to this point where she realizes, man, like I got into this because I just wanted to work really hard and be good at something. And I'm still that same person. And I connect with every single person that comes into the Proven brand or that comes into CrossFit because that's all they want to. And I think people are finally seeing that of like, hey, she's just a regular person. She's this crazy talented athlete that's worked her butt off to get to where she is. But at the end of the day, people are realizing she's the same as them. She's just a normal person. Shane's the same way. And there's nobody in this organization that feels like they're better than anyone else when it comes to just doing the work to get better at something. And I think that's what the biggest shift has been. And to see her come out of her shell that way and not be so worried about what people think or not saying the right thing and just being herself is why that's going so well, which has been awesome.
Hey, I know you're very busy. Thank you for coming on. I don't want to assign you work, but if it's easy and your paths cross with Tim Paulson, Mr. Joey, Shane, or Tia, could you let them know that I would like their contact information, or you could pass it on, and I'd love to get them on the show.
We could get Joey and Tim on here within the week if you want. That'll be easy.
Okay, awesome. All right, you tell Tia that and Shane that I really want to have them on.
Deal.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much for doing this. Great insights from you.
Yeah, great to catch up, man.
Yep, and congratulations on everything.
Cool. Talk to you soon.
Cheers. Bye.
See ya.
I think we're lucky to have that dude in the space. Professional and real. That's a fucking tough. That's a tough slack line, balance beam. That's a tough one to walk. How come no one's commenting on my tan? What's wrong with you guys? What's wrong with you guys? I'm looking like who's the guy who does the Chrysler commercials? That actor? It's not really I don't know if it's a balancing act is the right word, but he's just really good at being real, but also staying professional, like true to himself, but not stiffy. Stevie, are you more tan than normal? Yeah, I'm looking like who's the guy? I'm looking like not Sean Penn. Who's the guy who the really good looking guy who does the Chrysler commercials, and I'm trying to think of what movies he's been in. I don't know any of his movies. He's got that accent. Oh, McConaughey, yeah. I weighed 153 this morning. I don't think I've seen that on the scale, and I don't know what on the Jody Lynn carnivore. And I'm still I'm not even pure carnivore. Oh, I got to tell you guys a crazy story. It has pooping in it. So I sprouted a ton of broccoli seeds with Avi. I bought broccoli seeds and I said, "Hey, Avi, you want to sprout these? This would be cool." And he's like, "Yeah." So we put them in the glass jar and put water in there and drain the water out, and you leave them in the glass jar. And so all these broccoli seeds sprout. It takes like 5 days. And so yesterday they were done and they come out, and I'm so excited to eat them. And I used to be huge into sprouts, like 25, 30 years ago in my hippie days. But I never had broccoli sprouts. They smell crazy. I don't think a lot of people would like the smell of them. And so we sprout them, and I put a bunch of them in a bowl, and I put vinegar in it, and I have a sauerkraut jar that I had eaten all the sauerkraut out of, but the juice was in it, and I poured the juice in there, and I stirred it all up, and I ate it, and it was a big bowl. It was a shitload of sprouts. Nothing compared to like how you would eat sunflower sprouts. Like it was just nothing, right? But they were so potent. So about 30 minutes pass and my stomach does not feel good. I feel like I've poisoned myself. And this goes on for about an hour, and I'm sitting at my kid's music lesson, and I take a shit 3 times. And I'm just peeing out of my asshole. So I get home and I look up our broccoli sprouts potent. And yeah, let's put vinegar on food that smells like feet. Yeah, well said. Yeah, it smells like feet. And I guess broccoli sprouts are the most potent sprout that there is. Like they're not supposed to be just eaten like sunflower sprouts. Like you can't just eat pounds of them. So be careful. Katie, hi, I saw your dog. Oh my goodness. I showed my wife your dog. But anyway, if you're going to do broccoli sprouts, they're I guess I got some. It said it can affect your digestion if you eat too much. May cause poop to sprint out of your butthole. Corey Leonard. Yeah, it was crazy. It's a cleanse. It's fine. It was crazy. I guess of all the sprouts, it's the one. It's like the king dick. It's like I ordered some other beans. I need to chill. On the broccoli was crazy. They carry they carry a ton of food poisoning. I don't know what that means. You mean sprouts in general? All I know is that it felt like I had been. It felt. My son kept saying, "Are you going to throw up?" I'm like, I don't think so. Do not eat too many. I'm telling you, just eat a little bit throughout the day. I'm glad to confirm I've been maintaining my 20-pound weight loss since June. It's hard to, for sure. I can't I'm not even like what did I last night before I went to bed? It was like 9 o'clock at night. I ate like an asshole. I had like I think I had a hamburger, an old hamburger that my wife had made, hamburger patty that was sitting in the fridge, and I had 2 dates. And I still woke up this morning 153. I lost another pound. I don't know what's it's just crazy. But what I do is anytime I'm like hungry and I feel like I'm going to do something stupid, I just eat a can of tuna. And it seems to be working. Like 2 cans of tuna and a steak every day. Sevi, have you heard about the NBA player Cade Cunningham with collapsed lung? Wonder if he got the shot. No, that sucks. I do have an interesting story about an NBA player and something I just went through at home that I've alluded to a few times to you guys. I just don't know if I'm ready to tell the story yet. But we had some pretty wild shit happen here the last 6 months that I'm so glad is coming to an end. Holy cow. I think it's coming to an end. That's why I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to jinx it. But it was shit where like I was praying by the bedside every night kind of shit. Raw sprouts, alfalfa, clover, mung bean, etc. are high risk for food poisoning, causing infections. I don't think, warm, humid conditions allow bacteria to thrive. I think that's mostly like if you're buying them from the store. I think that I've heard that. Yeah. I think that's if you're buying them from the store. Pat, Sevi, did you hear about Reggie Lewis, NBA player who died in the 90s on the court? Wonder if he got the shot. Pat, all of those NBA players are filled to the gills with vaccines, especially if he was a 90s kid. Just like you are, buddy. You compromised your immune system the same way I did at a young age when they gave us all those vaccines and bypassed the strongest part of our immune system, our T cells. Our strongest part. 100% he did. Especially if he's a black guy. You know, they were probably testing him on the black dudes. Any other questions, Pat? You have as many shots as me, buddy. I know. Trust me, I know. I know. All right. Nick Johnston. Fantastic. Proven. Whose idea was the Proven shirt? We don't know yet still. We don't know. I want to go to the beach again today. I wish I could take you all with me and you guys could see this scene at the beach. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's the greatest beach in the world. My kids didn't want to go to this beach at first, and now they're convinced. And they've been to a lot of beaches. They're like, holy shit. They know now. It's got everything: starfish, hermit crabs, sharks, hot chicks, plenty of place to play two-hand touch, clean water, sandy area, rocky area. So it's just this crazy cove. It looks like you're in. It's better than any beach I've been to, like even in Hawaii. It's crazy. Can't believe I've lived here so many years and it took me so many hermit crabs, millions of hermit crabs. Oh, it's bikini heaven, dude. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's almost like dudes don't go to the beach. There's a nude beach 2 beaches down. Like when you're at the top of the stairs and you're walking down into this cove, my kids always like looking at the nudies. I mean, you can't see them. They're like this tall. It's always dudes. Avi goes, how come we never see the naked people walking down to the beach? And I'm like, because I think they walk down there clothed and take their clothes off there. I love it when I'm solving fucking like riddles for him, like really advanced thinking. He's like, oh yeah, you're right. They probably walk there clothed and then take off their clothes. Yeah. Hey, Katie, what are you doing with your dog at night? Is your dog sleeping through the night? Our dog does not sleep through the night. This morning, I walked out into the living room at 5:30 and turned on the lights, and my wife was sleeping on the couch. Because I guess she'd gotten up at 4:30. I guess she'd gotten up at 4:30 to take him out because he was crying in his kennel. Oh, no gymnastics today. Awesome. How come? I'm almost fully healed from the open. When I was drinking my coffee today, I didn't feel any pain in my shoulder. That's kind of nice. Your video of the puppy, getting the puppy was fun to watch. That Jason and Dallin made appearance. Oh man, Jason and Dallin were so cool to my kids. When we got home, Avi was so bummed he didn't get to meet Dallin. He loves Dallin. He loves Dallin. That's a good sign. If your kids like Dallin, that's a good sign. It's March Madness, most popular week for vasectomies. Isn't March Madness, that's the basketball thing? The college basketball thing? My youngest son, Ari, who's 9, asked me the other day, he heard me talking about this story I'd heard about kids who want to become professional athletes. And he said, could I become a professional athlete? And I said, hey, do you eat sugar? He goes, no. I'm like, do you feel properly? He goes, yeah. I said, do you train even when you don't want to? He goes, all the time. I go, do you love it? He said, I love it so much. I said, are you doing everything to support your growth in your sport? He goes, yes. I said, do you ever turn away from challenges? He said, no. I'm like, dude, you're already there. Like, you're like, you train beyond like a professional athlete. That's all it is. You're already there. Sebi, he definitely wakes up twice a night. Oh, good. That makes me so happy. He sleeps in a dog bed on the floor next to me. So when he whines, I just pet him and hope he goes back to sleep like a soothing newborn. Oh God, don't tell my wife that. My wife wants to use that. I just want to keep him in the kennel for like another 2 months. The reason why is because when I pawn him off on people, like if we have to leave town for like a week or two and we're going somewhere where we can't take the dog, I want to be able to give my mom the kennel too and be like, hey, here's the kennel. But this fucking guy screams like there's no tomorrow when you put him in the kennel. Pat Lange. Reading the Bible to your kids is the most important thing you can do. Without that, success is impossible for elite athletes. Wow, I didn't expect that from you, Pat. Wow, this is sweet. Seema, if you're still here, I want to say sometimes I'm an asshole to you. That was not my intent. I'm sorry to the other. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, Seema's cool. Power woman. She's a power woman. What if your kid loves Spiegel? I'm fine with that. I think they do like Danny. We all love Spiegel. Yeah. What's there not to love? Attention, everyone. Sometimes I mean to you. It's not my intent. What did I miss? Nick Johnston. He was great. Johnston. He was great. He's absolutely wonderful. Okay. More dog talk. Yep, Sevi. Murph screams too, like nothing I've ever experienced with a dog. I think he'll push through it and be fine in the kennel. He's still so little. Let him get older and he'll be fine. Yeah, thank you. Hope my wife hears that part. She would cuddle this dog into oblivion, which I kind of like. I like how much she likes the dog. I'm going to tell you. So I don't like nag her. I don't like there's all these rules I want to impose, but I don't because I know how much she likes the dog and she's so good at taking care of him. But I also need him to like know that like that kennel's his home. I make out with Danny at the Miami Airport Lounge literally every year now. Oh, that's fun. She's a good kisser. Wow. Wow. Yeah, it's open. Leave it open so he can go in and out during the day. It's open. He's not there yet. But when we had our guard dog, he just fucking always every day he would retire to the kennel. Like we never closed the kennel. He just went in there. Or if we were having a party or something, and there were too many people for him to bite everyone, he would just be like, "Fuck it, I'm not good. I'm off guard duty. This is impossible to guard." And he would just go in the kennel. Yeah, crate. I think that's what it's called, crate train. Yeah, that's the only way to do it. Once you do that once, it's awesome. Our other dog was so awesome. He just used that thing like his little. That was killer. I'd never had a dog that did that. You're having a hard time with the constantly yapping puppy. Rename him Taylor, and it'll be easier. Wow. 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 Spiegel looks leaner than. I'm assuming you're saying Danielle Brandon. It was wild to see. I bet you that I'm guessing that Danny, before she takes the floor, like she has a pretty strict diet on how she wants to present at the games, not only for performance but looks. That would just be my guess. I mean, she'd be stupid if she didn't. I mean, I don't want to show up to the fucking in public fat. I'm sure no one does, but especially like with the shit she wears, she does. She definitely wants to. Oh, Dana Lynn Bailey. Oh, I don't know who that is. So you have to guess that. Boy, we're getting quite the lineup of people on the show. Tomorrow, Trista Smith, take 2, $4,000 for Kill Taylor on Saturday. Sousa's coming over today to the homeschooled palatial estates where we are going to do a run through for NorCal. Lucy McGonigal on Monday, Daniel Chafee on Tuesday, Greg Glassman on Wednesday, Ty Jenkins on Thursday. We will do a show Monday evening too. I think the workouts are going to be released at noon. Quarterfinal workouts will be released on noon on Monday. Monday night show to review quarter final announcement. I don't really. I guess on Shut Up and Scribble they'll talk about the workouts, so maybe we'll just like make some predictions and shit. The show, I mean, with Seth and Sean and JR and Taylor on, I mean, it pretty much carries itself. So. Stevie also put a blanket or some piece of clothing that smells like Haley in the kennel. That can be soothing. Yeah, we do all that. Thank you. Good advices. We Haley bought the baby Jesus Christ. Haley bought the dog a bunch of swaddle blankets from Amazon, which I thought was genius. So they're the same kind of blankets we used to wrap the kids in. So he's got fucking a shitload of swaddle blankets. And those are rotated in and out all over wherever he goes. Get a real dog. I know. I so want a real dog. I'm hoping that letter that someone sent to the house will get my wife. I need it to be her idea. I need her to be like, okay, we'll take a giant dog again. Okay. Anything else? Don't forget Paper Street Coffee, I think he said you have till 2 p.m. Eastern today. Use code HOG for 50% off. That's important if you drink coffee. I think I'm going to make a prediction, and I think that last clip that where he said Tia, that was very interesting what he said about Tia, wasn't it? About how she was trained in her early years, what mindset to have. It sounds reminiscent of a few other people we've heard about also. Hold on, I'm trying to catch up on the chat here. I don't know what you're saying, Matt Burns. Having issues with your dog, get another one. Hey, Pat, isn't that funny? Like, I've known couples who are having issues, and how they solved it was to get married. Guess how that worked out? Or couples who are having issues have a kid. Guess how that works out? Oh boy. And by the way, we're not having trouble with our dog. Just dog talk. I never know what he's saying either, Sevi. Oh, okay. This was amazing. This was amazing. We are about to watch something. Dents must be so happy. Let me play this for you. We're here real quick. Let me play this for you.
Season report by the Barbell Spin, where we'll be covering all the CrossFit news you need to know. It all started off with 26.1 at Moffett Air Force Base with Jason Hopper, Dallin Pepper, Austin Hatfield, and Justin Medeiros. And welcome to the season report by the Barbell Spin, where we'll be covering all the CrossFit news you need to know. It all started off with 26.1 at Moffett Air Force Base with Jason.
So he announces it as Jason Hopper, Dallin Pepper, Austin Hatfield, and Justin Medeiros, and you can see it's Colton Mertens. Can you imagine Jenny? And this is the launch of what looks like Tyler's going to try to do this every week, and it is his first. Tyler needs some energy. Yep, it's his first. It's his first go. Like it's going to be fuck, he's robotic. No, it's just his first. You know what I mean? Go back and watch the first podcast I did. It's just his first. It's hard to be critical of it because it's his first show. You know what I mean? Like I don't have any feedback along those lines. But can you imagine being in the room when Jenny saw that? She probably started laughing her fucking ass off, and she knows that she's going to get more miles out of their new show than they get. It is going to be crazy. I bet you she giggled and her titties were bouncing all over the fucking place. She was probably, it was probably crazy. It was crazy. That was recorded. Yeah, I don't want to rip them. It's too early to rip them, but it is. This is gonna be. I mean, I wanted to be in the room when Colton watched it. This is gonna be crazy because you know how like the Hyrox people don't want to post their videos. You know, people don't want to post their videos of them like working out because of Hiller. Like the bats start showing up everywhere. This is, I mean, Tyler. Every time he makes this show, he's gonna be like, "Oh fuck, what's Jenny gonna find in here?" It is, man. Spin and Sevan Cruz are better together. It's good though. Listen, this is great. They're clearly inspired and have a fire lit under their ass, and they're trying to tackle more. Tackling a show like Tyler's wants to do every week like that is gonna be fucking nuts. It is gonna be a crazy eye-opening experience for him. And you know, what does John say? And I wish him the best. But you know, it's like this. The New York Times doesn't cover the New York Times. The New York Times covers everything besides the New York Times. And so now that there is, I don't want to say a division, but I don't care what word you use. You picked a word. Those guys will be covered now like they're the way Jenny covers everything. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be funny. Oh, wow. Hiller has the bad emoji. Jenny needs some boob emoji. Do they have a boob? God, that's genius. How come I didn't think of that? Is there a boob? Apple's way too stiff. They have a pregnant man, but there's no way they have a boob. Do they have a boob? That would be nuts. How do you someone search that? Is there a boob emoji? Search emoji. Boob. Nope. How about tits? Tit. Nope. Tits? Nope. Breast. Oh, there's a lady nursing. How about chicken breast? Oh yeah, there's a chicken breast. That's a shame. Can you imagine how awesome that would be? Oh, hammers. Oh, hammers. That's good. Hammers. That's what she needs as her emoji. Hammers. Oh God, please be a hammer. Please be a hammer. See if there's a hammer emoji. Search emojis. Hammer. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's awesome. Oh, you can't search it on your computer? I'm going to post a hammer on her most recent post. Where's the hammer? Jeez Louise, there's a lot of emojis. Hammers. We'll do 3 hammers. All right. It's official. Oh, you like oh, wow. What are those? Holy shit, what are those? That's amazing. Okay. I'm with you. How did you do that? That's just melon. Search emoji. Melon. Oh my goodness. That is fucking brilliant. Let me see if I can find the melons. Yeah, that's good, Gabe. You know your shit. Okay. I like how they're like it's this kind of a little bit of a side view too. Wow. I chubbed up a little bit. Sebi, remember using the calculator to spell out boobs? I didn't. Oh yeah, it's a little bit of work. I like it. She needs an emoji. All right. This one. Cans. Oh, cans is nice. It's a nice touch. Coconuts. Cans. This one. Coconuts. Cool boy obviously has a solid. She needs an emoji though. Magnus, you called this the Grumpy Old Men podcast? Is Tyler okay? What's going on? He's inspired. He's Satan. He's just inspired. He's just, you know what I mean? Like when he got a little competitive oomph in him. He's a little like, all right, motherfuckers, I'll step up. Okay, I have to go. I got excited because my wife told me gymnastics was canceled today. I have to take my Matthew McConaughey looking ass out into the public on some autographs and shit. All right. Thursday. It's Thursday. Gardner comes today. Maybe I'll do a show with Taylor tonight since I'm not going to the beach. Maybe I'll do that. All right. See you guys later. Wish me and Susan luck. We've got to fuck with the pep link today. It's going to be a pain in the ass. Bye-bye.